राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर जीवने मरणे गति हरो नाही मोरा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर कालिंदीर कुले केली कदंबे रवाना कालिंदीर कुले केली कदंबे रवाना रतन बेदीर उपरा भुसा बोध जाना रतन बेदीर उपरा भुसा बोध जाना राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर श्याम गौरी अंगे दिबो चंदनेर गंधा श्याम गौरी अंगे दिबो चंदनेर गंधा चामरडुलाबो कबे हेरे मुख चंद्रा चामरडुलाबो कबे हेरे मुख चंद्रा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर गतिया मलतीर्मला दिबो दोहगले गतिया मलतीर्मला दिबो दोहगले आधारे तुलिया दिबो कर्पूर तांबूले आधारे तुलिया दिबो कर्पूर तांबूले राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा अज्ञाय करिबो सेवा चरणारविंदा अज्ञाय करिबो सेवा चरणारविंदा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेर अनुदासा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेर अनुदासा सेवाभिलाषा करे नरोत्तम दासा सेवाभिलाषा करे नरोत्तम दासा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। राधा माधव की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुंदरमाई की जय। नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। पंच तत्व की जय। षड गोस्वामी की जय। गुरु परंपरा की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके bhaktirbhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji, thank you very much for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna today. So today we'll be discussing from fourth canto, 12th chapter, verse number 46 and 47. So let us first start with 46. Shrutvai shraddaya bhikshnam achyuta priya cheshtitam bhaved bhaktir bhagavati yaya syat klesha sanshayah. Shrutvai shraddaya bhikshnam achyuta priya cheshtitam bhaved bhaktir bhagavati yaya syat klesha sanshayah. Shrutvai bhikshnam achyuta priya cheshtitam bhaved bhaktir bhagavati yaya syat klesha sanshayah. One Prabhu and Mataji can recite.
Hare Krishna. May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
श्रुत्वैतच्छ्रद्धया भीक्ष्णम् अच्युतः प्रियचेष्टितम् भवेद्भक्तिर्भगवती यया स्यात् क्लेशसंशयः.
One Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, may I?
Hare Krishna.
श्रुत्वैतच्छ्रद्धया तीक्ष्णम् अच्युतप्रियचेष्टितम् भवेद्भक्तिर्भगवती यया स्यात् क्लेशं संशयः.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So word to word meaning synonymous. Shrutva, by hearing. Etat, this. Shraddaya, with faith. Abhikshnam, repeatedly. Achyuta, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Priya, dear. Cheshtitam, activities. Bhavet, develops. Bhaktihi, devotion. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yaya, by which. Syat, must be. Klesha, of miseries. Sankshaya, complete diminution. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. Anyone who hears the narration of Dhruva Maharaj and who repeatedly tries with faith and devotion to understand his pure character attains the pure devotional platform and executes pure devotional service. By such activities, one can diminish the threefold miserable conditions of material life. Purport. Here the word Achyuta Priya is very significant. Dhruva Maharaj's character and reputation are great because he is very dear to Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Lord are pleasing to hear, hearing about his devotees who are very dear to the Supreme Person is also pleasing and potent. If one simply reads over and over again about Dhruva Maharaj, by hearing and reading this chapter, one can attain the highest perfection of life in any way he desires. Most importantly, he gets the chance to become a great devotee. To become a great devotee means to finish all miserable conditions of materialistic life. Jai Shri Prabhupada's transcendental purport ki Jai. Go to the 47th verse. Mahatvam micchatam tirtham Shrotushiladayo gunaha Yatra tejastadichunam Mano yatra manasvinam Mahatvam ichchatam tirtham Shrotushiladayo gunaha Yatra tejastadichunam Mano yatra manasvinam Mahatvam ichchatam tirtham Shrotushiladayo gunaha Yatra tejastadichunam Mano yatra manasvinam. One Prabhu and Mataji can recite.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
Mahatvam ichchatam tirtham shrotu shiladayo gunaha yatra tejasti dichunam mano yatra manasvinam. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare Krishna. One
Prabhuji.
Prabhu wants to recite. If no Prabhu, Mataji.
May I?
Mahatvam ichchatam tirtham Shroto silladayo guna Yatra tejastad ichunam Mano yatra manishvinam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So Hare Krishna, we'll go to the synonymous word to word meaning. Mahatvam, greatness. Ichchatam, for those desiring. Tirtham, the process. Shrotuhu, of the hearer. Shila adaya, high character, etc. Gunaha, qualities. Yatra, in which. Tejaha, prowess. Tat, that. Ichunam, for those who desire. Manaha, adoration. Yatra, in which. Manasvinam, for thoughtful men. Translation and purport by Divine Geshwar Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. Anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like him. For anyone who desires greatness, prowess, or influence, here is a process by which to acquire them. And for thoughtful men who want adoration, here is the proper means. Purport. In the material world, everyone is after profit, respectability, and reputation. Everyone wants the supreme exalted position, and everyone wants to hear about the great qualities of exalted persons. All ambitions which are desirable for great persons can be fulfilled simply by reading and understanding the narration of Dhruva Maharaj's activities. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamelam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gatadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yonta Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuktam Sanjeevayati Akila Shakti Dharaswadhamna Vinyam Sahasta Charana Shravana Togadin Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Mukam Karoti Vachan Pangam Nandete Girim Yatkarvatam Dagaram Namo Vishnu 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 Shri Mahavishnu Swami Namne Namo Vishnu 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 Heru Shashwani Paschadistani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Varman Nityananda Shri Advaita Yes. So Hare Krishna Prabhu's Mata is. So we all assembled here today on 28th of May 2025 to try to get some practical lessons from this verse number 46 and 47 from 4th canto 12th chapter Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, in the previous verse also, again, actually what we are seeing now is the Falashruti, benefit of reading this Dhruva Charitra. And so anyone who, in the 45th verse, anyone who hears the narration of Dhruva Maharaj and who repeatedly tries with faith and devotion to understand his pure character, attains pure devotional platform and executes pure devotional service. So by such activities, one can diminish the threefold miserable conditions of material life. This is 46th verse. In the 45th, the previous one, right? By hearing the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, one can fulfill desires for wealth, reputation, increased duration of life. So it is so auspicious that one can even go to a heavenly planet or attain the Dhruva Loka, which was achieved by Dhruva Maharaj, just by hearing about it. So demigods also become pleased because this narration is so glorious and it is so powerful that can counteract all the results of one's sinful actions. So much power, right? So anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like Dhruva Maharaj. See, Prabhupada writes in the purport, right, in the 46th verse, to become a great devotee means, who is a great devotee? Or to become a great devotee means what? To finish all miserable conditions of materialistic life. See, in the purport of 5.14.39, Prabhupada says, see, Jadabrata, right? He described both the miserable condition and also the means to get out of it. The only way or get out of it is association with devotees. And this is the easy, and this association is very easy, right? Just get an association of devotees, pure devotees. See, although Prabhupada says, no, although unfortunate people also get this opportunity to associate with devotees, but due to their great misfortune, they cannot take shelter of pure devotees. And consequently, what happens? They continuously suffer. But Prabhupada says, however, this Krishna conscious movement insists that everyone take to this path by adopting the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The preachers of Krishna consciousness, what they do? They go from door to door to inform people how they can be relieved from the miserable conditions of material life. So this is the process of preaching. Because as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. By the mercy of Krishna and Guru, one can get the seed of devotional service. So if one is little intelligent, no, he can cultivate Krishna consciousness. And he can be freed, no, from the miserable conditions of material life. See, in 7.5.31 Bhagavatam purport, no, Prabhupada has given the way to return back to Godhead. What is the how we can return back to Godhead? Becoming Krishna conscious brings about anartha apagamaha. That is the disappearance of all the anarthas. The miserable conditions we have actually all these miserable conditions we have unnecessarily accepted. See, the material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. The entire Vedic civilization, right, is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries. But persons who are bound by the laws of nature, no, they do not know the destination of life. Because they are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. Goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? And the very important point is the education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained that materialist education expands the influence of Maya. And he says such an education, what happens? No, it induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to the materialistic way of life, and also to go away from the liberation of unwanted miseries. Now, one may ask, why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness? Question is, why such a very highly educated all these people, no? Why do not take to Krishna consciousness? The reason is explained in this verse, 7531, which we are discussing, right? Which is just told about, no? Where Prabhupada is telling how to go back to Godhead. He says, unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna consciousness spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. You have to take the shelter of a guru in the parampara. See, the educators, the scholars, political leaders, they're all worshipped by millions of people, right? They cannot understand the goal of life and they cannot take to Krishna consciousness because they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master in the Vedas. See, in the Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.3, it is said, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo na Medhaya na Bahuna Shutena. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education. That is one. Or by presenting lectures in an erudite way, like a scholarly way. Or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. Not possible. One cannot become self-realized by this. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and taken the dust of his lotus feet, he can understand Krishna. See, first one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya. So the only means is to become Krishna conscious. And to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take shelter of a realized soul. A Mahat, right? A Mahatma, whose only interest is to engage in the service of Supreme Lord Krishna. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim yashitaha bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. That is in 9.13. Then in Bhagavatam 5.18.12, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarver gunais tatra samasate suraha. One who has unflinching devotional service, faith in Krishna consciousness or in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. And in 6.23 of Shwetaswara Upanishad, only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, then only all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically will get revealed. And in Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.3, the Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses, whom Krishna chooses. So to such a person, he manifests his own form. So these are Vedic injunctions, right? So one must take the shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a nishkinchana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home back to Godhead. See, unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, that is, devotees have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. See, those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life, right? See, when the great sage Narada Muni was giving instructions to Maharaj Yudhishthira, This is in actually Chaitanya Charitamrita 22.53 purport. It says, he narrated the activities of Prahlad Maharaj. And this verse was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj to his father Hiranyakashipu, 7.532. The king of demons, right? See, Prahlad Maharaj had informed his father that of the 9 basic processes of Bhakti Yoga, right? Explaining that whoever takes to these processes is to be considered a highly learned scholar. But Hiranyakashipu did not like his son to talk about devotional service. So he immediately called Prahlad's teacher. And he's asking, what is this? The teacher explained that, sir, I had not taught devotional service to Prahlad Maharaj. But that boy was naturally inclined that way. So at that time, Hiranyakashipu became very angry and asked Prahlad Maharaj why he had become a Vaishnava. So in answer to this question, Prahlad Maharaj recited this verse in 7532 to the effect that one cannot become the Lord's devotee without receiving the mercy and blessings of another devotee. See the point, beautiful point, right? One cannot become the Lord's devotee, Krishna's devotee, without receiving the mercy of and blessing of another pure devotee. Right? So they will only take you and take to Krishna. So see, this is such and such Prabhuji, the Maharaj. This is Mataji. You have done wonderful seva. So now take. You'll introduce and take you back home, back to Godhead. They have to introduce you. Without mercy of pure devotees, you cannot. So we have to take the shelter. So that's why in 4:30:21 purport, Prabhupada says, the Lord is described as Purushartha Bhajanam, means the best or the ultimate goal of life. See, whatever success we want in life can be attained by the mercy of Krishna. So when an unalloyed devotee, when he chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is also purified of all mental contamination because the name of the Lord and the Lord are identical. That's why in Bhagavatam 1:17 it says, no? Shranmatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto hi abhadrani Vidhunoti Suhrisatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is a Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So the holy name of the Lord is the Lord himself. Now if one chants and hears, he becomes purified. Gradually all mental contamination disappears. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So as soon as devotees are engaged in devotional service, they become transcendental to all the material contamination immediately. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, right? Saguna samati taitan brahma bhujaya kalpati. So, those who are chosen to live in this material world, you know what they are called? Those who are chosen to live in this material, they are called conditioned souls. So, conditioned soul means they are living under many conditions of this material nature. And all these conditions are not very happy, right? They are all miserable, actually miserable conditions. 3-4 miseries. Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, right? So the living entities, because they are part and parcel of Krishna, so originally they are all spiritual sparks. But what happened? Somehow or the other, they have fallen down in the material world. Just like a spark, from the fire falls down on the ground. And the appearance of spark becomes extinguished. After a little bit, God gets extinguished. So as soon as the spark falls down from the fire, it becomes extinguished, right? And if it falls in the water, if the spark falls in the water, it is too much extinguished, very moistened, gone. Very little chance of blazing again. But if that spark falls on the dry grass, then that spark immediately creates some fire. And if the spark falls down simply on the ground, it is a via media between falling down on the water and the dry grass. So the spirit soul, when it comes down to the material world from Vishnu fire, that is Krishna, right? Then it contacts 3 kinds of material modes: Sattva, Rajo, and Tamoguna. So those who are in Sattva-guna, they have got Brahminical qualifications. So we can see the qualification of Brahmanas in 18.42 Bhagavad Gita, you can see. In that chapter, you can see what are the qualities of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, right? So those who are Sattva-guna, they got the Brahminical qualification. And those who are in contact with modes of passion, they are called Kshatriyas. Those who are mixed up with passion and ignorance, they are called Vaishyas. And those who are in complete darkness, they are called Shudras. And less than Shudra, they are called Chandalas. And even Prabhupada says Panchamas, I don't know, or Chandalas, yes. So therefore, human civilization should be conducted. How to bring people on the stand of mode of goodness or on the Brahminical platform. So that should be the aim of human civilization. Because as soon as one comes to the Brahminical platform, then everything becomes manifest, bright. So the whole cosmic manifestation and the Lord, we cannot see unless we come into the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna. So this Krishna conscious movement is going on to bring a certain percentage of human society to the platform of mode of goodness. See, when a person becomes materially engrossed, so he has no capacity to hear about spiritual existence. No capacity. So forgetfulness of spiritual existence, what happens? It entangles a man more and more in material existence. So such is the result of sinful lives. See, various bodies are developed with the material ingredients, right? Because of the different types of sinful activities. So if one takes the shelter of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, he can be elevated to highest perfection, even though he may be a low-born. See, one acquires lower births when one's spiritual intelligence is reduced, correct? So we can see when Hiranyakashipu asked the teachers, why Prahlad Maharaj, how he is becoming a Vaishnava, he is thinking of only the Lord. So teacher said, sir, we have not taught this. I do not know how your son has learned all this devotional service. By nature, he's so like that. So Prahlad is doing like that. So the teachers were very much cautious. They say this Prahlad has got tendency to become a devotee. So they were very careful. But Prahlad Maharaj, what did he do? As soon as there is a recess, tiffin hour in the school, all the teachers will go away, right? The break is there. So what he would do, he would immediately call all the classmates and his friends and he stand up on the bench and he stop speaking of Bhagavad Bhakti. So Prabhupada, in one of the classes, he says, just like our boys, going on the street, try to teach all others how to learn devotional service. This is our business. So Prahlad Maharaj is our Acharya, former Acharya. So following his footsteps, we have to do that. So everyone is doing, right? Preaching. Preaching is required. People are in ignorance. Prabhupada says people are in ignorance. They do not know what is God. What is his relationship with God. Therefore, preaching is necessary. So Prahlad Maharaj was doing that. So that's why the teacher was telling Hiranyakashipu, don't be unnecessarily angry upon us. We did not teach him. By nature, he is like that. So this is also another feature, right? That why one becomes devotee and why other one does not become a devotee. Right? Point to understand. That means in his former life, he was a devotee. So maybe it could not be finished in one life. But in this life, automatically he is trying to become a devotee. So therefore, devotional service is so nice that even if you cannot finish the whole course in one life, next life you are guaranteed to get a very nice birth so that you can develop further. And this is given in Bhagavad Gita. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Prashto Sanjayate. Bhagavad Gita 6.41. When Arjuna inquired from Krishna, he says, Krishna, a yogi, he cannot finish his duty or yogic process in one life. Then what happens? He becomes neither this way or that way. Krishna said, no. Whatever he has finished, that is his permanent asset. Permanent. It will not go in waste. Next life, he begins from that point and gets the opportunity of taking birth, right? He is given birth in a very nice family. That is in either a nice Brahmana family or a very rich family. Prabhupada says, in these two places, one gets the opportunity to increase his Krishna consciousness very easily. If he gets a birth in a nice Brahmana family, automatically he is trained in that way. When he gets his birth in a rich family, He has no economic demand, right? He need not struggle for any eating, getting bread and butter and good job and all this. Of course, he will do, but does not have to do anything more and more, right? So no economic demand. So he can save that time for developing Krishna consciousness. So those who are born in a rich family, they should know. They should be, of course, very careful. They should know that by the grace of Krishna, that we are born with a silver spoon. And so we should utilize this opportunity. See, not only rich man, huh? Every human being should be conscious to utilize this human form of life to understand Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. Otherwise, it is animal life. Animal life means, see, animals also are also eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So if we are simply engaged in the four principles of bodily demand and do not inquire about the Brahman, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, that is the Vedanta Sutra, then we are no better than animals. So Prahlad Maharaj was thus. Before his birth, he was taught by Narada Muni in the womb of his mother. Naturally, he was in devotional service. So he was executing devotional service. See, what happens? See, if one is a devotee, no, he cannot sit down silently. He wants to preach Krishna's glories to others. See, if you read Prabhupada's purport, you cannot sit quiet. You get so blissful and joyful. You want to share it with others. So that's why he wants to preach glories to others, even at the risk of life, like Jesus Christ did, right? Even at the risk of life, he preached God consciousness. So that is the duty of a devotee. Lord Nityananda Prabhu did it. Haridas Thakur did it. So these are many instances. The devotee risked his life for preaching the glories of Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj also is doing that. He knew that my father is nothing but a ferocious animal, Hiranyakashipu. Even big demigods would be threatened by his red eyes. He was so powerful. Still, he was executing devotional service at the risk of his life. And he was put in so many dangerous situations in life, right? Still, he did not give up. So we are seeing in this 46 and 47 verse, right? The Falashruti. Anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like him. That's why in 7:10:47 translation, Prabhupada says, Prahlad Maharaj was the best among exalted devotees. He says, anyone who with great attention hears this narration concerning the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, the killing of Hiranyakashipu, and the activities of Supreme Personality of God Narasimhadeva, surely reaches the spiritual world where there is no anxiety. This is another, again, Parashruti and Prahlad Maharaj's descriptions. Then 9:5:27. Anyone who chants this narration or even thinks of this narration about the activities of Maharaj Ambrisha certainly becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. See, in the purport of this verse, 9:5:27, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura gives a very good example. He says, when one is very eager for more and more money, he is not satisfied even if he is a millionaire or a multimillionaire, but wants to earn more and more money by any means. The same mentality is present in a devotee. The devotee is never satisfied thinking, oh, this is the limit of my devotional service. The more he engages in the service of the Lord, the more his service he wants to give. So this is the position of a devotee. So Maharaj Ambrisha in his family life was certainly a pure devotee, completely in every respect, because his mind and all his senses were engaged in devotional service. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor, Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunan Varnani. Maharaj Ambrisha was self-satisfied because all of his senses were engaged in devotional service. Saropadi Vinirmuktam Tat Prattatvena Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. So this mentality of getting more and more engaged in devotional service puts one in the most exalted position. Whereas on the karma platform, the mercantile man who wants more and more money, he becomes increasingly bound and entangled. Whereas the devotee becomes increasingly liberated. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antilila 11.101, he says, thus I have spoken about the victorious passing away of Haridas Thakura. Anyone who hears this narration will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. See, the Falashruti is of different kinds, right? This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita where is passing of Haridas Thakur. who is an Ramacharya. He chants more than 3 lakhs per day. So anyone who hears about this narration, about Haridas Thakur, they will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. And in 8:24:59 translation, Prabhupada says, this story concerning great king Satyavrata and the fish incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is a great transcendental narration. Anyone who hears it is delivered from the reactions of sinful life. So Sutta and in, I think Krishna book, no, chapter 85, where is spiritual instruction for Vasudeva and the return of 6 dead sons of Devaki by Lord Krishna. At the end of the chapter, he says that Sutta Goswami is speaking Bhagavatam before the sages of Naimisharanya, which is headed by Shaunak Rishi, right? He says, great sages, he is struggling, oh, great sages, please understand that the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna are all eternal. They are not ordinary narrations of historical incidents. Such narrations are identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So anyone who hears such narrations of the Lord's pastimes is immediately freed from the contamination of material existence. And those who are pure devotees enjoy these narrations as nectar entering into their ears. So such narrations were spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, who was the exalted son of Vyasadeva. And anyone who hears them, as well as anyone who repeats them for hearing of others. Very important point, right? One is hears, and who repeats them for hearing of others becomes Krishna conscious. And only the Krishna conscious persons are eligible to come back to Godhead. So you can see the Falashruti. So many, even Gajendras, so everywhere you can see. That means the whole Bhagavatam is so wonderful, going and hearing Krishna Katha about Krishna and about his devotees. More and more. You can get a lot of course, benefits, but the devotees don't hear or read or anything only for any benefits at all. They only want to serve the Lord day in and day out. That itself gives us a joy, right? We should joyfully perform. It should not become like a ritual. As it is already said, no? If you add spirit to your ritual, it becomes spiritual. So see all this katha, hearing, reading of these episodes of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Gajendra, right? So many pastimes are there. Go on reading and hearing and sharing with others, right? So you can automatically, a lot of qualities of those great devotees get imbibed. You don't have to do separately anything. Automatically it comes. See, in the entire Bhagavatam, Dhruva Maharaj's episode is one of the most important. Entire episode, no? It spans through 5 chapters. That is 4th canto, right? 8th chapter up to 12th chapter. Beginning with Dhruva Maharaj, who was just a 5-year-old boy, right? Child. He was hurt by the bitter words of his stepmother, right? And he was leaving home for performing austerity in the forest. For what? To attain a position greater than his great-great-grandfather. And then his successful completion of the tapasya, no, on the instruction of his Guru Narada Muni. And then taking the beautiful darshan of the Lord. Then returning home, ruling his father's kingdom, fighting against the Yakshas for killing his brother. See, all the way up to winding up his stay in this world by performing severe austerity and remembering the Lord and going back home, back to Godhead. So although we give most of the importance to the unbreakable determination of Dhruva Maharaj that we saw, which is very, very hard to emulate. This 4th chapter, no, gives a lot of his very sweet devotional qualities that should be very much appreciated and followed. This entire 12th chapter and 4th canto is a description of Dhruva Maharaj's different qualities. So it's a request. Let us all read the entire chapter and meditate on the verses. As Srila Prabhupada says so beautifully in his punching statement in 4:12:44, where he says, a sincere devotee should read every chapter and every word of Srimad Bhagavatam. A sincere devotee should read every chapter and every word of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what are the qualities which we can learn? See, the end of the 11th chapter Dhruva Maharaj very respectfully listens to his great grandfather Manu's advice to stop killing the Yakshas and immediately ends his fighting. This is one of the qualities is respectfully listens to the elders who are giving advice. Secondly, in the beginning of the 12th chapter, right, in this chapter, Kubera, father of Yakshas, appeared before Dhruva. Because of his peaceful nature and respectful attitude, Dhruva Maharaj bowed down. That is the beauty of a devotee, right? Peaceful nature and respectful attitude. He bowed down before Kubera. And Kubera, instead of becoming angry at him, he became very pleased with him and offered him any benediction he wants. Kubera, benediction, a lot of money, you can get whatever you want, right? Now, because he was a pure devotee, Dhruva Maharaj, he was able to attract everyone with his respectful attitude. This we can see in 412, verse number 1 to 7. Thirdly, even though he was offered a blank check, benediction from Kubera, Dhruva Maharaj, without being greedy, what did he do? He was not greedy. Without being greedy, he asked only for unflinching faith and remembrance of the Supreme Lord. 4:12:8. Fourth, after receiving the benediction of devotional service, Dhruva Maharaj did not relax. He rendered devotional service with unrelenting force. Unrelenting force. See, never was he proud for receiving the blessings, thinking that, oh, now I attained the goal of my life. Let me go for a holiday. Which is often the case, with us, especially after receiving shelter of a spiritual master. Oh, now I am done. Ultimate goal of life achieved. No. He did not relax. He rendered devotional service with unrelenting force. And never was he proud for receiving the blessings. And the fifth, he did not forego his material duties. Very important point. He did not forego his material duties. See, the previous 4, 10, 12, 10 and 11, right? Now here 4, 12 and 13 verses. See, as a dutiful king, he ruled this planet immaculately for 36,000 years. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Lord, kind to the poor and innocent, and protected the religious principles. Sixth, in 4:12, 14 to 19, these 5 verses, though he was very perfect in performing his prescribed duties, at the same time, he was completely detached from all opulence. So when the time came, he duly handed over the charges to his son, left for Badrikashrama, and engaged in full-fledged devotional service. So he was completely detached from all opulence. Seventh, this is in 4:12:28. See, as his devotional service became fully matured, the Vishnu Dutas came with this transcendental airplane to take him back to Godhead. So though this chance is very, very rare to attain, right? He was again completely prideless and humble, without rushing to get into the plane. Otherwise, people will rush. He performed all his spiritual duties, offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there, and sought their blessings. He was not in a hurry. 8. When he was getting into the airplane, he saw death personified approaching him. But instead of being frightened at him, Dhruva Maharaj, who was a fearless devotee, used the death personified head as a platform to get into the plane. So devotees do not fear death. They use it as an opportunity to go back to Krishna. This is 4:12:30 verses. The 9th point is, see, he was still not satisfied. He thought about his mother, who was the original guru, and thought, how can I leave her and go to Vaikuntha? So this shows that a devotee loves, respects, and wishes the ultimate good for his parents. A devotee loves, respects, and wishes the ultimate good for his parents at all times, irrespective of his advancement in devotional or mundane life. So at that time, understanding the mind of Dhruva Maharaj, the Vishnu Dutas showed him the airplane carrying his mother going in front of him. 4:12:33 and 34. And the 10th point is, see, as a culmination of all these qualities, in 4:12:37, 5 glorious qualities of a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj are described. They are peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, purified, and knows the art of pleasing all the living entities. And now comes the most important portion of this chapter. Maitreya Rishi emphatically concludes in 4:12:47. Mahatvam ichchatam tirtam shrotu shiladayo gunan. Anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like him. So let us all pray at the lotus feet of Dhruva Maharaj, our merciful spiritual master, Prabhupada and Krishna, that let them grant the benediction of always enhancing our taste, for reciting the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, so that we shall submerge in the bliss of hearing and acquiring the transcendental devotional qualities. So hearing of these qualities of great devotees of the Katha, reading, sharing with others is so important. So there's a word like ardent hearing. Ardent, A-R-D-E-N-T, ardent, ardent hearing. See, there I found a very powerful verse in Bhagavatam that insists on the quality of hearing. The 60,000 sages in Naimisharanya, they were eagerly inquiring from Sutta Goswami about what transpired between Shukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parishit. So they request in 112.3, they say, we all respectfully want to hear about Parikshit Maharaj, to whom Shukadeva Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge. Please speak on this matter. So the purport for this was a very powerful one. In this purport, we can see that the main focus is on hearing. What type of hearing? Not the type of hearing that goes in one ear and out of the other ear. Srila Prabhupada is focusing on ardent hearing, that is serious hearing, respectful hearing. So the word ardent means eager or fervent. So Prabhupada insists, transcendental realization is attained by such serious hearing and chanting and not otherwise. So all the benefits will accrue only when you do this, right? So the 12th chapter of the first canto of Bhagavatam, when the astrologers came to Maharaj Yudhishthira's palace, after Maharaj Parishit's birth, they described Maharaj Parishit as Mahabhagavato Mahan, the first class devotee qualified with all good qualities. A Mahabhagavata devotee like Maharaj Parishit is perfect in all respects. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Nirmat Saranam Satam Vedyam. It is understandable by devotees who are pure in heart. Now, because Maharaj Parishit was pure in his eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating, he was pure in action. Now, because Maharaj Parikshit was pure in action, he was pure in mind. And because he was pure in mind, he could give rapt attention to the message of the personality Godhead, as spoken by the great sage Shukadeva Goswami, who was the son of Srila Vyasadeva. So, Srila Prabhupada has very kindly given us the formula for achieving this rapt attention. How we can achieve this ardent hearing, the rapt attention for hearing the Katha. He has given the formula. What is that formula? 4 points. Number 1, in terms of purity in eating, Prabhupada says, eat only Krishna Prasad. 2, purity in sleeping means early to bed, early to rise. Sleep by 10 p.m. and rise by 4 a.m. 3, purity in mating means to beget children with one's legitimate husband or wife only. No illicit sex. Then number 4, purity in action means to follow the 4 regulative principles. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no eating fish, meat or eggs, no gambling. 4, and lovingly chant at least 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. See, by chanting Hare Krishna, the mind automatically becomes purified. Cheto Darbana Maharjanam. And with such a pure mind, we'll be able to execute the ardent hearing when the representative of Shukadeva Goswami comes before us, and the spiritual master, enabling us to achieve the ultimate benefit of such ardent hearing, which is going back home, back to Godhead. What happens when you go back to God? Where we can enjoy eternal bliss in Golok Vrindavan. Why? Where there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki janita go. Vancha kalpataru bishkripa sandubhaye vacha. Patidanam pavane vaishnu. Anantapuri Vaishnu. Thank you very much, Mataji, for this opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify ourselves. If you have any questions or any takeaways, anything you felt, you can share in your and take it to your daily practice. Hare Krishna. Yes. So you felt, I think, only hearing is okay. You are liberated now, right? Yes.
We should emulate all the qualities, Prabhuji. Try, work hard,
Yes.
and listen.
Yes. By hearing itself, means reading, hearing, and meditating on those verses, and then noting
Ardent,
it down.
ardent hearing.
Yes. Writing it down, then right, and sharing with others. Automatically, your knowledge becomes solidified.
Contemplate,
Yes, ma'am. Very nice. True.
meditate. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare.
I was just wondering how it would have been there at Naimisharanya when so many sages would have been hearing with rapt attention and ardent hearing
Mhm.
and all that. What pin drop silence or how much solitude would have been there, Prabhuji. I was just trying to imagine, Prabhuji, with
Yeah.
your narration. I could maybe we are making just a feeble attempt as to how it would have been and what would be the scenario there. I was just wondering, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Gordon Prabhu.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Prabhu, for a very wonderful class.
Thank you.
Prabhu, just like a small question, Prabhu. Like normally when we hear classes, when uh, we are enlightened, and again we go back to our same material duties and other things, we forget what is that word. So it is very difficult for me especially, to maintain that enthusiasm, that thing, that. So how should we do this, Prabhuji? How can I maintain this the day throughout the, it's very, very difficult. Now we heard the class, it was really good, everything is fine. Again, after it's finished, when we are off from it, again to the material duties, forget everything, and then the material duties only come. So how to maintain that?
Yeah,
Please
that's
help me.
good question. There's always, everybody has this question. So just now you yourself tell, I think the answer is there in your question itself. You said, bro, we heard this class, so interesting. We were enthusiastic, we were eager. Hearing was there. We feel very enthusiastic, happy now. So when we go out, we forget. Actually, that means we have to meditate on these points which you heard. That's why when you're reading, taking class, you note down these points, which really touched you. Right? Okay, this is a very good quality which I should imbibe and try to practice in my daily life. So maybe no, not to get envious or very humble or maybe silent or not to react. So maybe 1 or 2 points, right? So in the day-to-day, so that means the material activity, we have to do our material activity definitely. We have to Grahasthashrama. You have to follow you have to take care of the children or wife, husband, elderly people, everything. It has to be done. So that maybe then situations come that you get agitated and all these things. It is always there. So your point is, how can you maintain that the same enthusiasm and happiness or bliss which we here in the 1 hour class we have? That means you have to elongate ways to the same. We should keep this in our mind more and more, trying to meditate on those points, try to hear or chant Hare Krishna. Right? There are so many. You make a notebook, right? There are some points which will really inspire you. So many classes you might be hearing. Oh, this point he really inspired me. It's very nice, encouraged me. Note that point. So you may have so many points in that book, right? So whenever you find down or anything, you open it and look at it. Automatically you get inspired. So you can get inspiration, encouragement. You feel again that blissful because that you are told that class. Oh, this when I heard this, you get more realization. You start reading the chapters of the Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, again and again. So slowly you can get it. So it is possible, and this is the only way. You have to maintain this for a long time. You heard for 1 hour, so you have 24 hours, right? 8 hours sleep is there, so still another, at least for 8 hours, you're out in duty, various things. To maintain that, this 1 hour situation, what you had, to continue to get it elongated by thinking about those points and noting it down and how I can, what Krishna is wanting to tell me, what in this was, how can I imbibe these qualities? How can I put it into practice? So once you start practicing those activities, that qualities, no, like Guru Maharaj, so many qualities were respectful, no greed, so many, right? I just know, so one of few points were there. He was peaceful, See, the art of pleasing the living entities, which is very difficult, right? Respect, giving respect to elders, right? So completely detached, right? So basically the respect is very respectful, right? Very, very important. Respectfully listening, respectfully listening to elders. Otherwise, nobody listens nowadays. That's the point. If when two people are speaking, you're waiting for the other person to stop, you can speak. You don't listen. You should listen very carefully. The peaceful nature, respectful attitude, bowing down, right? Then we should ask. You should not be greedy. So many small points which I just listed out. So if you can do that, it's possible, bro. So I hope it was useful.
Yeah, very much helpful, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Chandra
Krishna.
Prabhu. Yeah.
You can have that diary, inspirational something you can put from title. Any little point, no? If it really picked you up. Just note down those points. Whenever you have, just read it yourself, you can get inspired. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Anything else to share? Or we'll stop here now? Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes. Thank you, Archana Mataji, Balaji Prabhu, Govardhan Prabhu, Jyoti Mataji, Kalani Mataji, Nirma Mataji, Swami Prabhu Mataji, Santosh Prabhu, Sonal Mataji, Suma Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanyavad.
Dhanyawad. Hare Krishna.